Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are welcoming you to the HosmartAI webinar to better understand the opportunity of the Open Call 2, that is a call for experiment, literally for pilots. And we hope you're gonna enjoy with us this upcoming 1 hour. Before we start, just a few reminders. As you could hear, this session will be recorded. It will be afterwards published on the HosmartAI YouTube channel. So for this reason, as we couldn't collect your GDPR compliance, we will be accepting questions only through the Q&A box. So please do not raise your hand. We will not be allowing to ask questions through the microphone. Or the question that you're going to be asking, you are free to ask them during the presentation. Potentially, some of them may be answered during the presentation. Nevertheless, at the end, we're going to be back to all of the questions and answering them one by one again. Yeah, without further ado, I would like to present you the agenda. So we will cover today briefly what is the HosmartAI. If you are not familiar, if you haven't applied for Open Call 1, this will be definitely very important for you to understand. Then afterwards, we'll introduce and contextualize the Open Call 2. What are the characteristics? What are the requirements? So what is the potential impact expected? The core of this presentation is to introduce you to the HosmartAI platform, what you really need to know to effectively apply to this call for pilots. And at the end, I'm going to cover and guide you through the steps how you should really apply to this call. And as has been said, we will be ending this session with the Q&A, where you are welcome to post a question. So our speakers today is the project coordinator, Athanasios Poulakidas, from the net company Intrasoft. We have our scientific technical manager, Martin van Gasteren from ITCL. Then the heart of the technology that will be presented, that is our technology lead, Makis Karadimas, also from the net company Intrasoft. And I am Eva Stefanik from F6S company, and having a role of Open Call manager in the HosmartAI project. And it is my pleasure to now welcome you to the first presentation, what is the HosmartAI project. So Thanasis, you can, yeah, exactly. And then go ahead.
Welcome also from my side. Let me start by saying a few words about the project. So this is a project that started first in the beginning of 2021. So we are closing to the middle of the project. It's about a 10 million funded project on AI for smart hospitals. So it's a kind of a large-scale pilot, right? And we have a lot of partners, 24 partners with big companies, SMEs, dedicated SMEs, health organizations, health hospitals, and research organizations. So the vision overall is for us is to see a strong European healthcare system, which does benefit from technology, from European technology, right? And our mission, our way to contribute towards that is to contribute to the integration of these technologies, of digital and AI technologies, digital robotic AI technologies, and into solutions, and to analyze their benefits, and to provide an environment where two providers will be able to, design and develop the tools to facilitate that as well. So in the project concept, the high-level simple concept, so we have on the left-hand side a hub, the HosmartAI hub, as we call it, which has a marketplace where you can find not only products, but also data, services, and other kind of things that you can use. It has a co-creation space, a place where you can find things that match what you want, partners that can match, that can offer what you want. You can collaborate, you can talk with others, access knowledge, use existing tools. We have a benchmarking framework where you get evaluations from running various sets of solutions. And we have a set of dashboards, information, UIs to guide you for a good view of all the data. Then from that hub, what you do is you deploy your applications in wherever you need, the hospitals, the pilots, or we have in HosmartAI, etc. And then you get a benchmarking feedback from running these applications there. So if you have a kind of control loop where you get the feedback, you can improve by looking at the marketplace, the co-creation, etc., and then you redeploy. In terms of technology stacking, let's say, we build on top of any kind of available technology. So it can be existing devices, existing third-party platforms, IoT, whatever other platforms, data centers, computing or data sets and databases. And on top of that, we build interoperability services and orchestration services, right? And these are the first things that we build. And then on top of them, we offer a set of AI solutions. First for data management and sharing, then specific AI and visualization solutions, and the benchmark that we talked about. Then on top of this, the applications are being built. So we have the co-creation applications, we have the marketplace, the dashboard, and on the right-hand side, the application solutions that we deploy to customers or whatever else. We link with a couple of external marketplaces, so it's not only isolated solution marketplace. Now, in terms of pilots, we have a relatively large number of pilots, a very diverse, right? So we cover from logistics improvement, diagnosis, treatment, surgical support, and assistive care. And we also cover a number of fields, cancer, neurological, aging, etc. Right? So you can see also the deployment of in the map of the pilots. So the first pilot has to do with computer-aided diagnosis, and it uses 4 scenarios in Greece. Our second pilot is about optimizing the use of radiotherapy, and is in Belgium, in Liège. Our third pilot is treatment improvement with innovative technology and rehabilitation, and that's in Italy. The fourth one is robotics used for a minimally invasive operation, that's in Spain. The fifth one is about assistive care in hospital with a robotic nurse, that's in Slovenia. The sixth is assistive care with a virtual assistant in hospital, that's in Spain. The seventh one is a smart cath lab assistant, that's in Belgium. And the eighth one is on prognosis for cancer patients and treatment, and that's also in Belgium. In terms of our methodology, we use a very iterative and very agile approach, let's say. So we have a number of iterations, a number of sprints that we run. And along these sprints, we have 2 major releases of software, let's say, and 2 major runs of experiments. So we have 2 iterations. And also we have 2 open calls. One was the open call 1 we call for technology, and that is finished, and the projects are running. And now this one, the open call 2, which is call for pilots. In terms of technology, we use, of course, AI and robotics technologies is the core. And a few more things about that. Firstly, on the common technology, common pillars that we offer, that you could use in your projects, right? The first one is about common data model, semantic interoperability, built on HL7 Fire, DICOM, and MIMO ontology. The second set of common tools is for data management, AI tools, for data management, analytics, etc. Another one has to do with the benchmarking, to analyze data and produce some kind of scoring, performance, evaluation. Then we have a number of tools on security and data protection and privacy, offering access control, CM, etc. And then for data sharing, blockchain, we deploy blockchains on edge and mobile nodes. Besides this kind of horizontal pillars, we also develop some dedicated tools to be used, which are mainly used in our pilots. So first we have a dedicated diagnosis revolution tools, which is CAD-X, CAD-E tools. Then we have tools for logistic improvement for radiotherapy sessions. Treatment improvement for rehabilitation therapy, both remote, both live. Then we have surgical support tools, robotic for catheter ablation and also for image analysis reporting. We have assistive care tools for with a robotic nurse in both hospitals and care center. And we have personalized treatment tools for data management and analysis for glioma. And that's a very brief introduction to the project.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tanazi. We will continue with information why we want more pilots. So contextualize a bit this concept. So Martin, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Eva. So let me explain a bit why are we having these open calls and do we request for third-party input. And HosmartAI is all about collaboration. So we're creating this ecosystem that we all are part of, starting with the European Commission. The European Commission has policies of trying to help the healthcare sector implement new technologies in order to improve healthcare, and in that sense also funding this project, HosmartAI. Our project is for 24 collaborating partners. Tanazi just presented the partners, how diverse they are, from universities to healthcare centers and to associations from healthcare sector and so on. And beyond the consortium, we also collaborate with existing complementary initiatives, like our AI for You on AI technologies. There's one on robotics, and other with similar initiatives as HosmartAI as well. So also on that level, we collaborate. But the most important, of course, but the healthcare users, the patients, is what we're all doing it for, of course. Healthcare sector professionals are there, working in healthcare institutions. Technology companies providing these technologies on AI and robotics. And also competence centers like research centers, universities, contributing with their specific knowledge. And so in the open call now, asking for pilots, we are seeking small consortia. Later on, Eva will tell more about it surely. But will be consisting of a healthcare institution, like a hospital, for instance, but it can be other healthcare institutions as well, and technology company providing this specific technology. Then optionally, a third consortium partner can be there, one of these competence centers. Okay. So this is where you come in, and we ask for your contributions to form part of this ecosystem. So let's look into the benefits, expected impact for your entity if you would participate in this open call. So for the healthcare entities, as a direct impact, of course, you have a technology solution implemented in your organization, funded by the European Commission. This should mean an operational economic win, an improvement of how the institution is working, and a process that you improve, or diagnosis, or whatever. There's a variety of possible applications here. You receive mentorship from the project for the duration of the project, the 12 months. And you will also gain high visibility. Now, HosmartAI has important dissemination channels reaching out to the entire both healthcare and technology sectors throughout Europe and beyond. So as more indirect impacts, I would like to highlight access to the HosmartAI ecosystem services. So there's more services available on the platform as well that you will be in touch with, and that can be useful for your organization as well. You have the guarantee of quality using the standardized HosmartAI technology from our platform, and also have expert support from HosmartAI people forming part of this ecosystem. So also beyond the project, other specific expertise. And in the future, as HosmartAI grows, other services will also be available there that can be interesting for your institution, like specific training. This can be technology training, for instance, data sets that are being produced and shared. It can be interesting for you, and technology solutions. Other solutions that are available that can also be interesting, that you may also be implemented. And these solutions will also come along always with results. So you will know about the effectiveness of the solution, how effective it has been for others. So you can evaluate how effective it will be for you as well. And then we will look at the expected impact for the technology providers and companies, and also competence centers. That falls into the same group here. So, of course, as direct impact, have the solution funded by the EC. Also, mentorship throughout the project. So, mentorship on technology level, how to use the tools on HosmartAI, possibilities and impossibilities that there are. Also, high visibility. So, your solution, your company can be highly disseminated through our network and help you promote it. In a more indirect level, you showcase your solution to this HosmartAI ecosystem. This is related, of course, with the visibility. Network opportunities. A lot of people form part of HosmartAI, so a lot of people you can be in touch with and collaborate with. Also, the expert support again on other levels than the proposal on your project. And also, you'll be counting on the quality of our solution using standardized solutions. Okay. The future, your solution, once it has been finalized after execution of your project, this can be posted on the marketplace of HosmartAI. So you have good visibility there. The results will be visible there. The results you want to present are there, and can help you promote this solution. So you have a large market potential. And so far, my part. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martin. So I will just directly move forward with the brief characteristics of OpenCo. So what is the objective of this OpenCo? So we have fund to fund the development and implementation of highly innovative and challenging AI and or robotics pilots. And the goal is to enlarge the value and outreach, not only of the HosmartAI ecosystem, the model and technology. So there is only one topic to apply. So we are welcoming consortia to apply with a study design, with a pilot design for AI robotics pilot for Smart Healthcare Center. And of course, we are welcoming those new pilots from across the EU and in fact also H2020 countries that you're gonna hear later on in the other presentation. And very diverse types of healthcare entities are welcome to join this consortia. Speaking on that, so when, who, and what. So the call was open last month, 15th of September. There is 2 months of application period. So we are, let's call it almost halfway through. And very important, when you're going to be applying, you must meet the deadline that is specifically 5 o'clock Central European time. Anything after this time applied will not be considered by the platform. So please keep that in mind. As mentioned already, Martin, but just to really repeat, you have a clear understanding for who is this open call. So we are searching for the consortia that will of minimum 2, maximum 3 partners, and this consortium must be built by the technology providers, that is startups or SMEs working with the AI or robotic solutions applicable for the health care ecosystem. Then, of course, we need a technology adopter, that is all the healthcare facilities organizations that would serve for that purpose. And optionally, as has been mentioned, keep in mind this is optional, but of course also highly recommended. You can introduce a competence center, and this can be a research center, or another SME, or another academia, any non-for-profit organization that will take the role in that strategically important support between the innovation and the healthcare industry. And what is our offer? It is a 12-month experiment program. So funding, as you already know, is up to 145,000 for the whole consortium. You will have access to the HosmartAI ecosystem and all what Martin has just presented. And again, mentorship and visibility program. There are several requirements that you need to keep in mind. This will be just a very brief overview. So keep in mind, you really need to look into the guidelines for applicants to give a detailed understanding. But let's start it. So the minimum TRL technology readiness level to apply to this call is the TRL 4. The expectation after the 12 months program is to reach TRL 6, of course, with the involvement of the healthcare facility. There are certain HosmartAI technology requirements. As you could hear, Tanas is presented apart. We will have a continuation in a moment by Makis. So you will understand better the platform. And while applying, you definitely need to read at least those 2 documentation that you can see. These are 2 reports produced by the HosmartAI already. The links to them you will find in the guidelines for applicants. So this is very important when you're going to be preparing your proposal. And then we also have certain security requirements according to the HosmartAI platform, and very important gender requirements. So you need to include sex and gender in your study design and analysis. And further, we have certain required KPIs to meet from the European Commission. And ideally, your study should involve minimum 50 patients and approximately 12-13 healthcare professionals. However, this is basically the equal division of the total KPIs that we need to achieve through the Open Call 2 pilot. So in theory, you can, of course, apply with the lower number of patients or healthcare professionals involved in your study, because potentially other applicants may really have a higher number, and at the end, it will be all balanced. However, please just keep in mind that this criterion can be taken into account during the evaluation. And if there will be a risk that we will not achieve the total KPIs, we will need to prioritize the proposals that have that minimum required KPIs to meet that you can see on the screen. And last but not least, very important, ethic requirements. And here, please keep in mind that you don't need to submit any ethic requirements during the application. However, you need to assure us that you have all the ethics requirements met, or you will meet them before the program starts, that is February next year. So you will be potentially requested to prove whatever is necessary during the contracting phase only once you are selected. But please keep in mind, if there will be any concern and you do not have those documentation once you are already selected, well, this can be, of course, a reason why we would terminate the collaboration with you, as there cannot be any potential delays due to the ethic requirements that were not met, and this is full responsibility of the applying consortium. So the details of all those requirements you will find in the guidelines for applicants. we will be sharing with you in the next presentation coming from my side, where exactly you can find all the documentation. So that would be a very brief introduction to the open calls by my side, but then we will again introduce a topic of the technology HosmartAI platform that will be given and presented by Makis.
Hi, everyone. I will hopefully give, through this presentation, information about the platform that is useful for this open call. In the platform, we provide registered and unregistered users access to the dashboard of the HosmartAI hub. Registered users can have access to specific tools, and those tools can support the development and deployment of applications, and also support co-creation between users. We will see some of them in the next slides. There is a marketplace in the platform that allows listing of the listing of applications and also other useful assets such as datasets. One important thing to note is that the platform supports project pilots and open goal applications. The development and deployment components of the platform can be used by those applications for development purposes. Also, other parts can be used, such as the service discovery and, most importantly, the benchmarking, which allows those applications to provide data regarding KPIs, which should assess the usage of those applications. Here we see an the inner structure of the HosmartAI platform deployment, where applications communicate through an internal network, and they are exposed through a central part, a reverse proxy, through the URL that we see on the slide, it's hub.hosmartai.eu. And what we see here is also that many of those applications allow single sign-on, which has been implemented using Keycloak. So the development and deployment tools that we saw earlier include a CI/CD solution. The journey of the CI/CD user starts from GitLab. This is true for the moment, but it will be replaced soon by GitHub. Again, same approach. Then the Jenkins deployment of the HosmartAI platform picks up the code and can perform a build. One of the steps of the build is the SonarQube scan of the code to detect issues in the code and security vulnerabilities, along with well assessing the general quality of the code. Then the next steps include the creation of a Docker image, which can be stored in a Docker repository along with other artifacts that can also be stored there. So I believe that's it for this short overview of the platform. I hope this information was useful to the attendees. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maki. So I guess now we are moving to the final presentation. Yes, how to apply. We hope you have learned already a lot about who we are, what we are expecting, and now how this process will look like. So step one, this is absolutely mandatory step. All of you that are seriously considering applying to this call, you really need to read the guidelines for applicants. Here you can scan for it already. No need to now, this, as I mentioned, this will be also recorded, so you will have access to this afterwards, but you're gonna find it on our website, and this is like a fundamental document for you to really understand the rules that we all need to follow, you and we as the HosmartAI consortium, to make this open call and afterwards this 12-month programs happen. We also encourage you to check already the frequently asked questions, and some of your questions potentially have been already answered in that section. And here is where you can find all this application kit on our website. And as you can see, it's very important, the division that you understand. So on the top, you see annexes 1, 2, 3.1, 4, and 5. So all those 5 annexes, you need to have an understanding of them, and you will need them during the application period. So open call text is just a brief introduction to what is the offer of this opportunity. Guidelines I have already mentioned, absolutely must to read. Annex 3.1 is the description of work that we call it, but this is basically your proposal that I'm gonna talk about this in a second. Then you need to sign a consortium declaration of honor. So all of the partners, that is minimum 2 or maximum 3 partners, need to sign and upload this consortium declaration to the F6S platform. When you're gonna be applying, there will be a specific question requesting this. And here we have Annex 5 SME Declaration. You can skip it. How I'm gonna talk about this in a moment. And then Annex 6 and Annex 7 is only for your, you should remember those annexes only once you're gonna be selected. So you can, of course, get familiar with them. Keep in mind that Annex 7 is potentially subject to change and updates, but you don't need to upload those 2 annexes in your application process now. So hope this is really clear. Then when we are moving to the step 2, you need to understand, of course, if you are eligible. And for this reason, you really need to read the section in the guidelines for applicants that you can see, but I will just cover the very basic information so you can already hopefully screen whether you are eligible or not. So as has been said already a few times, so I hope you do remember by now already, that eligible partners to apply to this call are the SME startups as technology providers and healthcare entities as technology adopters. And in addition, you can also involve research institutes, academia, or other non-for-profit research entities. It can be also another SME, it can be also another healthcare entity, maximum 3 partners to serve as that bridge between the innovation and the healthcare industry. And then all the partners that I have just mentioned needs to be legally established in any of the following countries. That is, we are talking about the member states of the European Union, including the outermost regions. We're talking here about the overseas countries and territories, and there is a special list of H2020 associated countries. These are 17 countries. You can easily find them when you search. We also have a link in the guidelines for applicants. What are those countries? And very important, of course, the beneficiaries of the HosmartAI consortiums are not eligible to apply to this call. And also keep in mind that when you're going to be applying for this call, you should not have any conflict of interest with any of the beneficiaries already composing the HosmartAI consortium. So moving further, when you understood you are eligible and you really want to apply, then if you have never before applied to any of the open calls through the F6S platform, this is what you're gonna see when you're gonna click on our apply button website section. You will be welcome to register to F6S platform, either through your LinkedIn, through the Facebook, or simply through your email. And then, well, you will be able to start your application, to start answering the questions there. And then very, very important, it's the core of your application. You need to download the Annex 3.1 from the application kit that I just mentioned before. And then you simply start working on your application. Your proposal must be maximum 12 pages. The template is very specific. There is no space to alter this template, so please just follow and include all the information that we are requesting, because the evaluators will be strictly advised to follow and evaluate applications only with accordance to this template. Please don't provide more than 12 pages, because also external evaluators are always advised to not evaluate anything above the 12 pages. So more content in that case means you can potentially even risk the ineligibility criteria. So please do not do it. Be very specific and strict what you want to achieve. Then moving forward, so step 4, as I mentioned, potentially you can skip the Annex 5, that is the Sme Declaration. By the EU standards, we have to always check and verify all the SME startups. So how you can skip that, filling in this document, as you can see, it's a few pages document that you need to fill in. You need to apply as soon as possible for your PIC number. So PIC is a 9-digit participant identification code. Here you also can scan, you can understand how to apply. And this is a very easy procedure. So if you're gonna provide us in the F6S application form with your PIC 9-digit code, you don't need to upload your Annex 5. So, but if you don't have the PIC number, you must. It's mandatory. You're gonna provide us with the field in Annex 5, and this is important. Keep in mind, in the past we have received some applications that have submitted the Annex 5 that was not filled in or incorrectly filled in, and that automatically makes your proposal ineligible, and it's not moved anymore to remote evaluation, and that would be, of course, very pity. So please pay attention to this. So assuming that you have followed the steps, you work on your proposal with your partners, you applied, and then what is happening then? So this is the timeline that we are aiming to meet. So as I mentioned, the open call will be closed the next month by 15 November, specifically at 5 p.m. Central European time. We intend to start the evaluation the next day by 2 external evaluators per application, and this evaluation period should run until end of this year. Please keep in mind this is a subject to change, depends on how many applications we're gonna receive, as this will play a major role, how much time we will need for this task. Then by January we are planning to already announce the winners and start the contracting phase. And then by February, if everything goes according to the plan, you would kick off your 12 months program with the design phase, and then continue with the develop, deploy, and operate phase, which is detailedly explained in the guidelines for applicants. And the final phase is the assess. So evaluation, a brief introduction, what will be the process of evaluation once you applied your submit your application. So first step, we will be checking if your application is eligible and if all of the beneficiaries building the consortium are eligible. Assuming everything is correct, automatically your application will be shared with the 2 external evaluators that are bound with the non-disclosure agreement. So they will be evaluating your application with accordance to specific rules. Then the best 8, maximum 10 consortia will be selected and invited for the interview phase with the HosmartAI representatives, but also the external evaluators. And then based on the final score from the remote evaluation and the interview, we will follow up with the consensus meeting in case of certain differences in the opinions, and then you will be either selected and invited to the contracting phase, or unfortunately provided with the rejection letter and evaluation summary report, where we will identify why your application was not selected. On the right, here on the right corner, you can see the evaluation criteria. Of course, again, this is the details you can see in the guidelines for applicants. In brief, we have the criteria such as excellence and innovation, impact and exploitation, consortium and the project planning, and value for money. Each from those criterion, you need to obtain at least 3 out of 5 points. It is a threshold, and the overall threshold is an absolute minimum 15 points out of 20. So when we look further to the program and how will be the payment distributed, so open call, as a majority of the European Union open calls, is run through so-called FCTP, so that is a funding for the third parties methodology. The good news is that this is a simplified method to provide funding to the third parties based on the achievements, specifically speaking, innovation and technology achievements. So we will not be requesting any of your actual costs. We will not be checking that. You will be paid according to delivery of what you have promised in your proposal. So the first checkpoint will be after 2 months after design phase. As you can see, there will be, certain deliverables. As a verification check to submit, we will be running a review process with you, like half an hour, more or less, a call, video teleconference call, and this is the overall goal of the design phase, to fine-tune your pilot planning and HosmartAI technology usage. If everything is correct, we will be paying you 30% of your total requested budget. Then you will be eligible to move to the second phase, that is a 6 months phase, develop, deploy, operate. Again, there are certain deliverables and KPIs to meet for this phase. The overall objective is to deploy technologies in the field, initiate operation, and collect relevant data. You will be also requesting for you a video to upload as a mean of deliverable. And once this is verified, you will be paid another 50% of your total requested budget. And finally, if you pass the second phase, you will end up in the last phase, that is assess. Again, certain set of deliverables and KPIs required. Hopefully by that time we have already minimum valuable product, and the overall goal is to aggregate results on the technology impacts and communicate the achievements. And we will be paying you the rest pending amount of the total budget requested. So 12 months, as it has been said, this is the ecosystem currently that we have. As you can see, our ecosystem that Tanazis and Martin mentioned has been extended by the 4 parties selected from the Open Call 1. And we hope you will be the next one here, expanding our ecosystem. And saying that, this is end of the presentation time. And we're gonna now move to the section of the Q&A. So I see there are some questions in the chat and in the Q&A. Okay, no, in the chat, perfect, because, okay. So you have seen several relevant links in the chat, so I hope you took advantage of that. And now we're gonna go through the questions. I'm gonna go first through the question that we already answered, but because this is recorded for the audience publicly, also we need to cover the questions. So first question, hi, we are developing an AI solution for healthcare. Is there a possibility to become part of the ecosystem, for instance, for HosmartAI to integrate our solution in its product offering and tools? And we have answered already, yes, that would be an important asset of your application. Please describe in your proposal how the solution could be presented in the marketplace and how others could use it. Excellent. Are you sending the presentation after the webinar? This is the next question. Yes, it will be shared on our website, LinkedIn, and other social media. Another question. The pilot call is for AI plus robotics solution, not one or the other. Answer. Your proposal may be only on AI or only on robotics solutions. Another question. Is the HosmartAI platform already deployed to be used? Answer. Most components of the platform are available and could be provided access to pilots of the open core if requested. And the final question from the answered is, hello, will it be possible that the tech provider doesn't have a development yet, but has an idea that could be developed using the tools within the HosmartAI platform? We have already answered, it is not wise to start a solution from scratch. A working solution is expected at the end of the project. See the indications on TRL levels in the guidelines, and I can just remind you, it was minimum starting point was TRL 4, expected TRL 6. And now I'm opening the floor for the questions that were not answered, sorry. So the first question, is it mandatory to pilot AI for robotics? Okay, that was already answered. So another question. Oops. Very confusing. Okay, another question. We are able to develop new AI integrated in HosmartAI, or is it mandatory that we use HosmartAI AI tools and tech and create the software layer on top of it? Who of my colleagues would like to answer this question? Thanasis or Martin or Makis?
You are encouraged to use the HosmartAI tools, but you can use whichever also you have. So you have to eventually to link with us. We have to link with our ecosystem. You have to be listed in the marketplace, and you are encouraged to use as many tools as you want from us, as you need.
Okay. Thank you, Thanasis. Next question. For the 12-page application, is it possible, interesting to add appendix? No. No, unfortunately not. The evaluators will be paid specifically for that 12 pages, and it needs to be very equal rules for all applicants, so no appendixes. Everything needs to be included in the 12 pages. So hope that clarifies. We have another question. Potentially, Thanasis, again for you. Are we required to integrate anything from HosmartAI? And if yes, what is the minimum? We already have the full infrastructure for our solution, including the AI infrastructure and everything. We don't need any CI, AI tools, or etc. Or can we just create a project by saying the value added if HosmartAI adds our AI solution as part of the marketplace? I don't know, again, if this is you, Thanasis, or also Martin, concerning the marketplace.
Yeah, well, it is advised that you try to use our tools and link with us, right? So the marketplace being listed, the packet is the minimum thing. Right? But utilizing what we do is an added value for us as well. So we appreciate that. Also, be careful. If you already have a solution which is already fully ready, you don't need to develop anything more. You don't get funded to do. If you already have done that already, right? The funding is to do some extra work. So for that extra work, we appreciate that if you look and try to work with some of our solutions.
Yes, thank you, Thanasis. Yeah, as a matter of reminder, all the open calls funded by the European Commission are, of course, to encourage, advance, and support SMEs with funding for them to develop further or advance their solution. So that's exactly the idea. Further question, is there any advance payment for the investment on robotics or materials? No. This is the cascade funding. We are not eligible. We are not allowed to make any prepayment. As I mentioned, there will be just a checkpoint, and then the first payment will happen after the first 2 months of the design phase. And also, any subcontracting for devices, it's not very well seen. It needs to be very minor, if any, and very, very well explained. So basically, the funding goes literally for the efforts and for, you know, for executing the work. So we are paying for the capacities and skills of those beneficiaries that are applying. Next question, just to make sure, can the AI software also be standalone, or does it have to have some technological interoperability features with the HosmartAI platform? I guess this is a similar question. So I don't know, Thanasis, or maybe now Makis, you want to again clarify this concern? Oh, no.
We talked about the use of HosmartAI tools, but the final result can be standalone. Right? So you could use tools from HosmartAI, but what you develop, it could be a standalone application.
Okay. Who is going to be intellectual property owner after the project? Any restriction on mandatory clauses in licensing term? I can just start that the intellectual property owner of your solution, you as the applicant remain the owner of your solution. Concerning any licensing, I don't know, Thanasis, if you want to take over this.
No, I agree. In principle, the people who develop the technology are its owner. So we encourage that pilot applications that are could actually exploit it afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, another question. Hello and many thanks for the presentations. Are there specific subjects, for example, diagnostic, operational, etc., that are requested for the AI robotics pilots? We didn't narrow down, we didn't limit the domains of application for the pilots in the guidelines. That means, I don't know, it's not restricted, but perhaps one of my colleagues would like to add something more.
No, it's not restricted. The evaluation is really about the impact that the solution will have. How many people will it impact on? So it can be on different fields. There's no restriction on that. It's not being considered in the evaluations.
Yes, thank you, Martin. Another question, what happens if there is a delay of the final KPIs past 12 months? Well, there is a big problem because we don't have more time. There will not be most probably any opportunity to extend the period. In that sense, of course, the risk is that the final payment either will not be done or will be compromised, depends how much input or how much has been achieved in relevance to your original proposal. So that would be the way that we would need to deal with the situation. Obviously, it's hard to say how many KPIs wouldn't be achieved, what would be the reasons why they were not achieved. But in general, all applicants need to keep in mind this 12 months program is the maximum that we can offer, because our project will be also ending and we will not be able to extend that period. So next question, how many proposals one consortium can apply? One. It says one proposal per consortium. Another question, I was actually wondering about the presentation and not the video. I don't understand the question, actually. Maybe that person can clarify with another question.
I think I understand it, Eva. So before they asked if the presentations were being shared, and the answer was that the recording is being shared. The presentations themselves, I don't know if they can be downloaded somewhere.
Okay. So the presentation itself as a PowerPoint will not be shared. We will be sharing only the video recording. This is exactly what is seen now. So hope it clarifies. Thank you, Martin. Another question, if I understand right, the startup is co-developing the platform with you using HosmartAI toolkit. It is not incorporating the startup product into the HosmartAI platform? Martin or Thanasis, would you like to take this question?
Yes, it is more about incorporating the product, build it up on top of the platform, yes, and integrate it then in the marketplace, showcase it, and have it available for others to use afterwards. Yeah. So the co-developing the platform, no, this is the platform being developed by the HosmartAI consortium.
Mm-hmm. Again, a similar question to what we have answered already. Is it mandatory to use HosmartAI tools for development, or we can just join the marketplace? Thanasis, could you just remind your answer, just to be sure, as this seems to be one of the hot questions?
That we encourage to use the HosmartAI tools, and joining the marketplace is the minimum that we expect. That should be done. But we encourage the use of HosmartAI tools in the development of their solutions.
Exactly. That was also the platform presented, and all the documentation one you can find in the guidelines for applicants. Another question. Hello and many thanks for the presentation. Are there specific, oh no, this was, I think, repeated. So we answered that question already. So do we have to match the grant to a certain percentage? Not so sure if I understand the question. Of course, if your question concerns how you should distribute the funding across the 3 phases, design, development, and assess, that means, yes, it is advisable that, of course, the core part of your proposal will be proposal, and the grant requested will be dedicated to the develop, operate phase and deploy. The design phase obviously should be, we recommend, well, the smallest distribution, so to speak, and the assess, it also, of course, will depend who will be your technology adopter. But it needs to be obviously certain logic how the grant is distributed, but yeah, this is just a recommendation. There are no specific rules.
It could be that they want to ask if this is 60% funded. This is 100% funded, right?
Ah, okay, yes. So yes, this is 100% funding, equity free. Yes, if that was the question, I hope we clarified. Another question, is there any technical contact to reach just to check the level of integration or app website APIs when the application is almost ready, just to check if architecture is okay? Well, we cannot, of course, check or read your proposal. If you have any specific question, technical question, of course, you are more than welcome to contact us through the open calls at hosmartai.com. Perhaps it's also useful that you have just received that email address in the chat box, and it was shared also on our slides. So you can contact us with very specific questions that we will try to provide you with an answer. Is it better if the hospital is from a foreign country? We don't have preferences, so there is not really extra points if it's from foreign country or not. That would be my answer. Yeah, no restriction on that, as far as, of course, this hospital is from the eligible countries that were listed before. Okay, we have some clarification. I think it didn't became clear. The end product, once implemented at the marketplace, who is owning it? HosmartAI, the startups, or co-owned? Thanasis, could you still clarify that?
The startups, the consortium, it is the owner, unless they use some tool that has, from ours, that they have chosen to use some tool that has some IPR. But this is the most typical case, is that the people who develop the solution, the consortium, the startups, and the partners are the owners. Yes.
So we need to definitely repeat that and highlight that you are developing the solution, you are the owner, unless what Thanasis said. And then, of course, there would be certain negotiation and in the contract further in the phase when you would understand that you are interested to use any module, any part of the HosmartAI. But that everything would happen really during the program, because potentially you wouldn't be able to assess this already in the contracting phase. So we hope we answer all of your questions. I see no more questions really pop up in the Q&A box. Let me check the time. Yeah, it is literally 1 o'clock. So if there are no more questions, I would like to thank you all for your participation. We do hope, we encourage you to apply. One very important final announcement. So especially the healthcare facilities that are joining us today and are seeking for the technology providers. Please, maybe we can share now, Katja, also in the chat, the link to the form. So there will be a form that you can fill in. It's literally 1-minute form when you can express your interest that you would potentially like to build a consortium, but you are missing the eligible partner. And then we will try to see and potentially match you and make it your announcement public on our website, where the potential technology providers could contact you, reach out and offer and start discussion whether you can build interesting consortium for this open call. So we strongly encourage you to do it. We will share with you the link to that form when we will be contacting you, all the registered people, through the F6S webinar page. So again, thank you so much. Good luck with applying to us, and any questions, let me put the final page. You can see it now. You can contact us. You can post the question also on the F6S discussion page. Some of you have done that already. We are trying to regularly answer your question on the platform itself, but you can also contact us via email and follow us on the social media, where you will be up to date with the final updates. We'll be planning another webinar closer to the deadline of the call, so keep an eye on us. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Good luck.